Chennedy Carter ended up getting into an interview with an influencer and basically giving her side of the story when it came to the Caitlyn Clark shove over moment.
Nothing actually illegal has taken place to my knowledge involving Chennedy Carter. Yeah, that was a really ugly foul, and I understand it was bordering on what looked like assault. We all remember the vicious hip check. I also will not forget Angel Reese jumping up off the bench.
Do you watch every game, every single game, to see if you can find any deflects in my game? And like, it's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's why I said they're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little like tap, like I'm here, not to like harm you or anything.
What warranted the shove over while the ball wasn't even in play? Like, yeah, you get back in her face and talk trash, but don't like just go over there and bowl her over and the ball not even in play. That's two different things right there. Like, yeah, if you get hit in the face, that happens. All right, that happens in basketball. You can get hit in the face, hit in the head. You can get hit anywhere during a basketball move or play, right? But the fact that you had a dead ball going on and you went over there, you called her a B and then bowled her over. Yeah, that's a little different.
How does a player packing undeniable offensive firepower, someone who can light up the scoreboard on any given night, find themselves on the outside looking in? Chennedy Carter possesses the kind of scoring talent WNBA teams desperately need, yet she remains unsigned. The infamous shove against Caitlyn Clark grabbed headlines, a moment of aggression seen by millions. But that single jarring incident is merely the tip of the iceberg, hinting at a deeper pattern of behavior that has team executives slamming the brakes on bringing her aboard. Carter recently broke her silence on that controversial push, but what she said might just cement the very reasons her phone isn't ringing.
That's a little different than somebody talking trash in your face. Just because you might see other players do it and they give an excuse of why they did it in the NBA, that
you know, if you want to push somebody, you're gonna like full force like.
But people really made it like a crazy big deal. I've seen the clip.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not crazy deep in the WNBA world, but in the WNBA world, they dragged it like crazy.
I mean, that happens, man. Like, it's one of those things. I'm a great player, she's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's gonna have their views on it. But my personal view is, you know, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player, and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season, you know what I'm saying? So,
just be a good sportsman and play within the game, that's all. Bust your opponent, but within the game. Don't get the physical punching and bowing. I can't stand a dirty player.
The game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky was already crackling with energy, a marquee matchup fans had circled. But amidst the competitive fire, something else ignited. During a pause in play, the ball nowhere near the action, Chennedy Carter locked onto rookie phenom Caitlyn Clark. What happened next wasn't a hard foul in the heat of battle, it was calculated. Carter approached Clark, visibly mouthed a derogatory term, calling her a B*********, and then delivered a brutal blindsiding hip check. Clark stumbled, stunned. The attack was unprovoked, unexpected, and frankly ugly. Instantly, the clip exploded online. Fans, analysts, even casual observers were outraged. It wasn't just a foul, it felt personal, malicious, and completely outside the bounds of competitive basketball. Angel Reese leaping off the bench in apparent approval only added fuel to the firestorm. The visceral reaction wasn't just about the physical contact, it was the context, the dead ball, the insult, the sheer lack of sportsmanship that left everyone asking why.
Oh, just give her like a little like, I'm here, like, you know, I don't think it was, you know what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like, I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who like pushed LeBron out of bounds, like said, man, I was mad because like we couldn't stop him. So I'm just like, it's like one of those things, like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing, it's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and like it's just one of those things. But like, yeah, it's kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want.
Like that, I don't think the Caitlyn Clark moment is the reason she's not in the WNBA. I do remember a moment. It was like tweeting.
But the immediate aftermath was almost as telling as the shove itself. In the days and weeks following the incident, Carter remained largely silent, offering no public apology or explanation. No remorse was visible on the court or off it. Then recently, she sat down for an interview, finally addressing the moment that damaged her reputation. Her explanation? It might make your jaw drop. Carter described the aggressive off-ball shove as a nice little tap, something that just happens in basketball during the heat of competition. She framed it as simply having fun, maybe pushing back because Clark was supposedly complaining, but millions saw the footage. It wasn't a tap, it wasn't playful. It was a deliberate, forceful shove delivered after a verbal insult while the play was dead. Clark wasn't even looking. There was no basketball reason for the contact. Carter's attempt to rewrite the narrative to minimize what everyone witnessed didn't smooth things over. If anything, it painted a picture of a player unwilling or unable to acknowledge wrongdoing, essentially trying to gaslight anyone who saw the video evidence.
And basically, ESPN had her as the 25th player in the league or something like that. And I think Angel was up like the number 12. She was up high. And basically, Chennedy had a problem not with the Angel restatement, but she was talking about the point guard.
And this disconnect between her actions and her explanations wasn't limited to that one shocking moment. While the Clark incident played out under the bright lights of the court, Carter's behavior on the small screen of her phone was raising separate but related red flags for WNBA front offices. Consider the ESPN player rankings incident. When a list placed teammate Angel Reese significantly higher than Carter, most athletes might use it as quiet fuel, motivation for the gym. Carter took a different route. She publicly aired her grievances on social media, questioning how her stats didn't warrant a higher spot, turning a standard piece of sports media into a personal slight. Then came the liked tweet. A post surfaced suggesting the Chicago Sky were only competitive because of Chennedy Carter and the refs. Carter liked it. Publicly endorsing content that diminishes your own teammates while positioning yourself as the sole reason for success? That's a cardinal sin in a team sport. Imagine the locker room dynamic after your teammate essentially throws everyone else under the bus online. It suggested a me-first attitude, a potential preoccupation with individual recognition over collective achievement, precisely the opposite of what championship cultures are built on.
And then I think a tweet that was kind of related to that came out, and they were like, look, the reason the Sky are looking like they can make the playoffs is because of Chennedy Carter and the refs. That's what somebody tweeted, and she ended up liking that post. That could be tying into the fact that it might be a little chaos or drama being created within the organization.
But the concerns weren't just about online activity, things were reportedly just as tense behind closed doors. Team chemistry is fragile, and locker room incidents can fracture it beyond repair. Reports surfaced of a significant confrontation between Chennedy Carter and her then teammate, Camila Cardoso. This wasn't just a minor disagreement or a typical heated exchange between competitors. According to multiple witnesses, the altercation escalated dramatically, becoming so intense that other people had to physically step in and separate the two players before it potentially got physical. What makes this incident particularly alarming is that it apparently happened with others watching, suggesting a lack of restraint even in front of an audience. This wasn't just competitive fire, it crossed a line, entering territory that teams consider dangerous to cohesion. While disagreements happen, confrontations requiring physical intervention signal a level of volatility that can poison an entire team environment. Insiders described the locker room not as a place of unity, but as a pressure cooker primed to explode.
Her liking that tweet, she didn't go to the game. She didn't play in the game, right? Now, I don't know. They did show hospital pictures and things like that. But yeah, man, a lot of people felt like that was a scapegoat. A lot of people felt like, oh, she kept saying she had COVID.
She is too talented. I don't know if you guys saw what she did in China. She was freaking ridiculous over there. And, I mean, she's 17, 18, 19 points a game, I think, every night for some team.
This wasn't an isolated blow-up, it seemed to be part of a disturbing trend. Perhaps the most damning indictment of Carter's impact on team dynamics comes from whispers and reports surrounding former teammates. It's one thing to have friction, another entirely when players reportedly make career-altering decisions to get away from you. Sources have indicated that Carter's presence was a significant factor in why players like Michaela Onyenwere and Marina Mabrey wanted out of the situations they shared with her. Think about that. Talented professionals allegedly choosing to leave, seeking trades or new opportunities specifically to escape the environment created by one teammate. One source bluntly stated Carter was a reason these players wanted to leave. That speaks volumes. It suggests a pattern of behavior so consistently disruptive, perhaps even toxic, that it actively drives away valuable roster pieces. When multiple players seemingly vote with their feet, general managers take serious notice. It paints a picture not just of isolated incidents, but of a potentially corrosive presence within a team structure.
Because after that tweet and her liking that tweet, she didn't go to the game. She didn't play in the game, right? Now, I don't know. They did show hospital pictures and things like that, but yeah, man, a lot of people felt like that was a scapegoat. A lot of people.
My opinion, I hated what she did to Caitlyn Clark last year, but I think she should be on a team. One more shot. Let's do one more shot.
The consequences of this pattern are stark and undeniable. Let's be crystal clear. Chennedy Carter can score the basketball. Her talent is not up for debate. She averaged impressive numbers in the WNBA and put up ridiculous stats overseas in China. Teams across the league are starved for consistent offensive production, and Carter has proven she can provide it, potentially delivering 17, 18, even 19 points a night. So why isn't she signed? Because in professional sports, especially in a league like the WNBA that's carefully cultivating its image and growth, talent alone isn't the whole equation. General managers aren't just looking at box scores, they're making calls, talking to former coaches and teammates, digging into how a player handles adversity, interacts behind the scenes, and contributes to the culture. The reports of locker room chaos, online drama, and driving teammates away create a risk profile many teams are unwilling to take on. They seem to be making a calculated decision. We'd rather have slightly less talent and maintain team harmony than import potential disruption, no matter how many points she might score. It's a devastating professional assessment.
But then we can also talk about her history, right? And then we remember what we was hearing in the locker room when they lost. I forgot what game that was, but they ended up losing, and it was commotion in the back. And Camila Cardoso was saying, hey, close the door.
But perhaps the most telling insight comes from Carter herself. In that same recent interview where she downplayed the Clark shove, Carter offered another revealing glimpse into her mindset. When asked about the negativity and criticism surrounding her, she didn't express regret or a desire to change perceptions. Instead, she stated, "I love it though. I love when it gets to it. I love the hate. I love it." Those words are chilling for any organization prioritizing a positive, cohesive culture, embracing hate, feeding off negativity. It suggests a fundamental disconnect from accountability. Rather than addressing the root causes of the controversies swirling around her, she appears to be leaning into the role of the villain. Does she genuinely thrive on conflict, or is it a defense mechanism? Either way, for a WNBA GM weighing the risks and rewards, a player who seemingly welcomes drama is a massive red flag. It raises fundamental questions about maturity, self-awareness, and the ability to be a constructive part of a team striving for collective success.
Twice at the end of the game, she didn't necessarily want to pass her the ball. So yeah, I just feel like it's a lot more into it than one moment. I think it was actually some organization issues, maybe some chemistry problems, some drama in the locker room. It's a reason Michaela wanted to leave, right? It's a reason Marina Mabrey.
So the Chennedy Carter puzzle remains unsolved. We see the flashes of brilliance on the court, the undeniable scoring prowess that should guarantee a roster spot, yet the shadows linger. The unprovoked aggression against Caitlyn Clark, the questionable explanations, the social media missteps reflecting poor sportsmanship, the alarming reports of locker room explosions and teammates wanting out, all capped off by a defiant embrace of the very negativity surrounding her. Is this a talented player caught in a few unfortunate moments, or is it a pattern of behavior that consistently undermines team chemistry and professionalism? Right now, WNBA teams seem to have reached their verdict, choosing stability over statistics. The question now isn't just if Chennedy Carter will get another shot, but whether she recognizes the need to change the narrative before her immense talent is permanently overshadowed by controversy.